Good day, how are you? My presentation, Harnessing Energy from Below. Can you guess what renewable energy I'm going to talk about? Geothermal energy. Now, I'm a creative advertising student here at Humber. I do a lot of right brain thinking, the creative side, learning about technology and energy, and the left brain side has been a great learning curve, and I can say I found a new passion and look forward to studying more renewable energy. So, I'm here to talk about geothermal energy. And why I chose it over hydro, wind, and solar? Well, here's why. Hydro is fantastic renewable energy. We produce 60% of our total electricity in Canada from hydro, and we're ranked third in the world. However, hydro produces electricity, and so does wind power. I'm here to talk about heating and cooling. So, what else does heating? Solar power? Yeah, but in Canadian winters? Okay, good luck. I'm here to talk about geothermal technology. In this presentation, I'll talk about what it is, how it works, why we use it, the different types of systems, their popularity, the market usage, benefits, cons, challenges, and a little more in this presentation. So geothermal energy, what is it? Well, geothermal energy is thermal energy generated and stored beneath the Earth's surface. Now here we have a sun and solar radiation. Well, 50 to 55% of land and water absorb solar radiation. So geothermal energy, what is it? Well, one source comes from the sun. Geothermal energy is thermal energy generated and stored beneath the Earth's surface. About 50 to 55% of solar energy is absorbed by the Earth's land and water. Deep beneath the Earth's surface, even several meters to kilometers underground, are hot water reservoirs, which are heated up by the solar activity, and the steam it produces is what we utilize to produce electricity, heating, cooling in our homes. So what does the technology look like? Here we have a space heating and cooling system, which contains three components: an earth-water connection, a heat pump, and a heat distribution system. On a larger scale, we have our pump house here, which pumps up hot water from the underground reservoirs through a production well up to the heat exchanger where the steam is produced and goes into a turbine hall where it sends off electricity as well as hot water to district heating. Continuously, we have a water reservoir which is dropping water back underground through an injection well and producing even more renewable energy. In Canada, well, what do we require geothermal for? Well, we require for space heating, water heating, appliances, lighting, space cooling, just in that order. Geothermal is a renewable energy source, and it's used for residential heating and cooling purposes. And it's great because it is available year-round. In the summer, it takes hot heat and disperses it back into the ground, whereas in the winter, it brings heat up from the ground and distributes it into the home. And we do this without the need for oil furnaces, for air conditioning, and I'll talk more about this in the presentation. But just a little bit on the electricity side, we can produce electricity in three different ways from geothermal. The first being a dry steam, where the steam is pumped directly into a turbine, which generates power. The next is a flash steam power plant, where hot water from underground is pumped into a cooler temperature flash tank, and that change in temperature creates a steam and then powers a generator. And then the next is a binary cycle power plant, which the hot water is actually pumped into a heat exchanger, which is exchanged with a second liquid that transforms into steam. It is shown to be more efficient, just saying that these are three different ways to generate electricity from geothermal. So, we have two different types of geothermal systems. We have a closed loop system with being horizontal and vertical designs, and we have our open loop system, which is our groundwater design. I chose to leave out the pond water for the purpose of this presentation. So our three different designs. We have our horizontal based design, which is great because it's less expensive than a vertical, and it's good for homes and small buildings. But the downside is that it requires a large piece of land as it's horizontal, and the temperature varies as it's less deep underground than a vertical system. The vertical system is great because it's good for when little land is available, and it's highly efficient. It's good for big buildings. However, it is more expensive because of the increased cost of drilling versus trenching in the horizontal. And as for groundwater, this is the least expensive of the three systems, and it's great for residential. However, because you're using the body of water, there's regulations for the water usage. It requires, of course, adequate water, and you have your risk of fouling, which is your microorganism and bacterial buildup. So these are three different designs and your pros and cons in them. Now, which ones are being used? In Canada, we mostly have our horizontal system. Over half of geothermal installations are horizontal, followed by vertical and our open system, and again, that pond lake system that I did leave out. So, why and when are we considering geothermal energy installations? Well, we consider it when heating and cooling is needed, when the temperatures are varying, like in Canada, we have our hot and cold changes 4 times a year. Let's say you have personal environmental concerns and you want to be more sustainable. Let's say you're considering incentives and tax rebates from the government. Or of course, if there's available drilling and trenching expertise available for a system installation, and these are great reasons to install a geothermal system. Well, what are the challenges with geothermal? In the research found that there are high upfront costs. We looked in class that in Finland it could cost $13,000. Well, in Canada, installations can cost up to $30,000 Canadian, and they can go higher than that. So there's high upfront costs. Another challenge is the disposal of wastewater containing small quantities of chemicals like boron and arsenic, and gases like hydrogen sulfide and carbon dioxide. And although these are minor when compared to that of other industrial pollutants, it does represent a challenge. The next thing is that it's expensive to test out seismic testing, test well drilling, confirmation testing, and other necessary preliminary investigations to ensure that your new plant will be capable of meeting desired production. And of course, like any renewable energy source, the risk of heat and electricity production not reaching the proposed objectives. However, how can we overcome these challenges? Well, just like we discussed in class, with the development of more policies to support renewable energy, improving research, driving down the cost of installing these geothermal systems, and my favorite, which is increasing public awareness about renewable energy systems through education and demonstration. This is how we can overcome these challenges. And through the challenges, the benefits to geothermal are plentiful. First benefit is that it's available on site, which is a big deal because the energy required to operate heating and cooling systems generally comes from natural gas, electricity, or oil, and that energy has to be imported far from the plant towards the building. So with geothermal, you have a smaller physical footprint. And also, because it's local and distributed energy is reducing or eliminating that line loss, that wasted energy that happens during that transmission and distribution of electricity. Although that's electricity, not heating, it is another benefit of geothermal technology. Second great benefit is that geothermal is available all year round without the need for having 2 different types of systems, an oil furnace in the winter and an air conditioner in the summer. Those 2 different systems are greenhouse gas emitting and non-renewable, and they're not even as efficient as a renewable geothermal alternative. It's said that high efficiency geothermal systems are on average 48% more efficient than gas furnaces, 75% more efficient than oil furnaces, and 43% more efficient when in the cooling mode. So you're eliminating 2 different non-renewable systems for 1 renewable system. Now the last range of benefits, I just want to share, there's more in my paper, but there's low operating and maintenance cost, you have a low emissions, minimal environmental impact. It's a continuously generating renewable energy source available in large quantities, and even fascinating, you can recycle your wastewater back into the hot geothermal reservoirs to produce more renewable energy. The benefits carry on. Now on a global scale, Think Geoenergy released their top 10 geothermal countries in 2018 for installed capacity, and Canada didn't even make the list. However, our neighboring country is number 1. And not to be discouraged from this, with the increase in Canadian initiatives and conferences and events for renewable energy, we're opening up the conversation for more development in renewable energy in Canada. And this is what inspires me for a Canadian sustainable future. I have learned so much learning about geothermal in this course, and it fascinates me knowing that instead of heating our homes with non-renewable resources like coal, oil, and natural gas, we can heat our homes and stay warm with a clean, renewable energy source that supports a sustainable future, and that's geothermal technology. So thank you for listening. If you have any questions or details I can answer, please give me an email to noaaff@gmail.com. It was a pleasure. Thank you.